Jerry Jones, commenting, this is in the lead up to the exhibition game over the weekend. Jerry Jones said that in the lead up to this, prior to the exhibition game, he had said there was no sense of urgency to get an extension worked out with wideout CeeDee Lamb. So then he was asked about that, and he commented on the situation on the Cowboys pregame show, Cowboys and Rams at SoFi, as they started the exhibition season on Sunday. And Jerry Jones attempting to clarify the urgency quote that he had said. And do we have audio on this? I think we have the audio. Here's Jerry Jones as he attempts to set the record straight on CeeDee Lamb. Take a listen.
I think I got in trouble a little the other day when I said, look, we're not urgent about CD. Well, no one appreciates CD being on the field any more than I do. But let me say this, he wouldn't be taking a snap out here today if he'd been here for you got to use your head when you expose key players. That gives the other younger players a chance to do it. We know exactly what CD can do, and he's worked out with Dak. And so we wouldn't have him out here. It has really not anything to do with his contract.
All right, so blah, 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 blah. Let us discuss. The question here for the assembled panel, the question is, where are you at on Jerry Jones attempting to walk back the not urgent quote, the money quote that he gave days prior here on signing CeeDee Lamb, saying it's not urgent, trying to spin this into, well, he wouldn't play against the Rams anyway. It's the exhibition game. So I've got Dr. Seuss, skullduggery, and the bag. And we will combine all of these things together, and we will make regular season prices for preseason content. That's what we're going to make. So, first of all, I did get a kick out of the putting of the toothpaste back in the tube, the attempt that was made by Jerry Jones as he's standing over the boiling cauldron, stirring the pot, the witch's brew. As he's been very open about this, we know that Jerry Jones loves the fact that the Cowboys haven't won since the 80s, for all intent. Well, I guess the early 90s, but it was like the spin over from the 80s. But they haven't won in a long time, right? It's been a generation since the Cowboys won. And yet still, Jerry can stand over that boiling cauldron and spin the gobbledygook and get everyone to dance. Everyone dance. And yappity yap about the Dallas Cowboys. And here we are again. We took the bait, guilty on all charges. And here we are yapping about Jerry Jones and his beloved team. But what is Jerry Jones' real position on CeeDee Lamb? Like, my position is he already let you know what he thought of CeeDee Lamb with the initial commentary. So I'm going to channel my youth and go Dr. Seuss. I'm going to go Dr. Seuss mindset here. He didn't stumble when he commented originally about CeeDee Lamb and the contract squabble that is going on between Jerry and the agent for CeeDee Lamb. And it's the Dr. Seuss mindset. There was no misspeak. It is simply that famous quote, he meant what he said and he said what he meant. That's it. Now, it turns out that didn't exactly dot the I and didn't hit the bullseye, if you will, here. So after a few Mr. Softy types got all offended and very upset, Jerry said, you know what, I was actually throwing a curveball, and I'm the smart guy, and you're the idiots, and here's what happened. But Jerry has shown remarkable perseverance, determination. He has been pig-headed, that he does not want to pay these guys, any of them, not right now. And will we get to week one of the regular season with that being the case? We're getting close. We're only a few weeks away from the start of real football, and that's crap, fake football. Real football, right? We're not that far away. We're not that far away. Will Jerry cave in prior to that? Will he cave in before that happens? And so far, no. That playoff gag, that wound is still fresh from Stinky Cheese, the Green Bay Packers, kicking the tail of the Cowboys in Jerry's world there. And so no one's getting paid right now. We'll see. He's got a few more weeks to make it through, and then we're okay. All right, now, secondly, as for the actual exhibition play on the field, Cowboys and Rams, El Stinko, for both sides here, you got to take it for what it's worth. Now, normally we put this disclaimer up for the world here that we do not engage in breakdowns of practice. Not a game, not a real game. It's a practice game. Not a real game, practice game, right? However, we have a show to do today. And so we have a show to do today. And since I happen to be partaking in the practice football, we will partake and we will analyze what we saw in said practice football. Okay, so when you talk about the Cowboys and Rams, which there were a couple of games that were showcased on Sunday, we'll bounce around these games. For the Cowboys, how did backup quarterback Treylance do for Dallas? How did he do? Well, he looked like the same guy he's been in the NFL, which ain't good. He pulled off one of the great cons in NFL history. There should be books written, documentaries made about Treylance and his meteoric rise up draft boards a couple years ago for a guy who seemingly can't play. Not at a high level, not in the NFL, against the Ram backups. This guy pulled off one of the great debacles in NFL draft history. Under the cloud of COVID a couple years back, he used classic skullduggery. Treylance. He did, right? To get the 49ers to trade, I think it was 846 draft picks to the Miami Dolphins because this was their forever quarterback. So they got him. They got their forever quarterback there, and the Dolphins got a bunch of scratcher tickets. And then I think Treylance was the number 3 overall pick in the draft, all because of what? Measurables and the 19 games that he started at North Dakota State. But really it was one season, and then they had the COVID year, and there was like 3 other games, and then that was it. And that was enough to hypnotize and mesmerize Lynch and Shanahan with the 49ers. So they got their guy, except he can't play. And then they were able to unload him on the Cowboys because Jerry Jones is like, well, we got the number 3 overall pick or whatever it was in the draft, and we got him for pennies on the dollar because, hello, spoiler alert, that's what he's worth. Pennies on the dollar. We saw it in this game here. Treylance. I'd rather have Lance the bus driver at quarterback. Treylance, Dr. Doolittle in the NFL and drafted high, and you got to be high that he's – the only reason he's still in the NFL is because of that, right? And he's just not very good. Dink and dunk, and I know that works for Dak Prescott. It didn't work here against the secondary players. Now, speaking of the Rams, though, final thought. Several of you reached out to me. Oh, you don't have a quarterback. If Stafford gets hurt, you're screwed. All because of Stetson Bennett, the old Georgia Bulldog from back in the day. So it was not a masterpiece for the Ram backup quarterback who played the vast majority of this game. Your thoughts on Stetson Bennett, who had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 interceptions for the Rams. So clearly the U word comes to mind, underwhelming. It was underwhelming any way you break it apart here. Well, what about the end of the game? He had the game-winning touchdown. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. And that means you were still watching the end of an exhibition game. Bad job by you. But I say, hey, for Stetson Bennett, the old Georgia Bulldog, get the bag. When you watch this guy play, you need the bag, but not the bag of money, the barf bag, because you want to puke in your mouth watching him play quarterback. He missed all of last season under mysterious circumstances. So you figure he's going to come out here like gangbusters against the backup for the Cowboys. And not your prototypical NFL quarterback, Stetson Bennett. He had the 4 picks in this game. And when I was watching, and maybe I missed it, maybe my TV was broken, mostly with a clean pocket. And it wasn't like there was some hand in his face and the pass was tipped over here and over there. There was an interception in the Bronco game I was watching with the Colts where the ball batted up in the air. And you say, okay, well, that's not on the quarterback's fault, right? You say, well, it was a tip pass, whatever. This was, unless I missed something, Stetson Bennett was just sucked. He was just bad at his job. And that was it. So they have Jimmy Garoppolo for some reason. I don't know why he's on the Rams, but he's there. I guess they always have to have some old quarterback on the team for Sean McVay. So they have Garoppolo, who is like a lucky rabbit's foot or something like that. You got him as your backup. but he's suspended because he's a steroid cheat for the first couple games of the year. And that means if Matthew Stafford is unable to be healthy by the time the season starts and fully healthy and ready to go, then the Rams are a Matthew Stafford injury away from Stetson Bennett being the quarterback. Okay. Good luck on that.